I'm looking next one.
I don't know.
Ready?
Is it on? Yeah.
Speaking to your mic.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you. So this is the animal science presentation by myself, Amin Washington, Jada Wade, Diamond Robertson, Naomi Cooper, Jessica Robinson, Miles Covington, and Kaya South. Okay, so the purpose of this animal science rotation was to give us hands-on experience, expose us to different areas of animal science and possible career options. We engaged in a research project that focused on herd health, best management practices for small farmers in Louisiana. Small, limited resources farmers have been looking for more efficient ways to safeguard herd health for a long time. Traditional veterinary medicine with healing, caring, and treating of single animals or entire herds has lost its importance and will eventually be replaced by preventive measures and health management. Good morning, y'all. The goal of the herd health program is to improve the herd's productivity and through BMPs. BMPs attempt to organize all information applicable to herd management into a simple, usable, and easily remembered format. BMPs and prevention medicine programs are designed to minimize potential adverse effects of predictable constraints and protect against unexpected ones. To determine the factors affecting animal production, disease, prevalence, and biosecurity on small ruminants and cattle farms in Louisiana. Ruminants are an even-tongued, ungulated animal that chew and cud, regurgitate from its rumen, such as cattle, antelopes, deers, giraffes, and so on.
Experimental design. During the month of June, we visited 4 small ruminant and cattle farms in 3 different regions. Region 2, East Baton Rouge, Region 9, St. Helena and Tangipahoa, and Region 4, St. Landry. Regions. Over the past 2 weeks, we were only able to travel to 3 different regions instead of the intended 9 that will be traveled during the rest of the experiment.
Materials and methods. Samples taken on each farm included fecal, blood, hoof trimmings, bedding, soil, and forage, and equipment swabs on water troughs. Blood samples were used to determine anatomy levels, which fecal samples were supposed to determine parasite loads, and all other samples used to determine the presence of bacterial pathogens.
So as far as the pictures go, you can see us getting blood from a sheep. Kaya and Miles were waiting to catch the sheep actually, because they were free range in the area and running around. That's me at the bottom right, sampling fecal matter, and at the top, Jessica and Jada are going in to get fecal matter out of the rectum. Yeah. We were milking a goat at the top. Jada milked a goat. There's more collecting the fecal matter with, I think that's Jada and Kaya. Then Naomi and Jessica at the bottom with blood. More collecting of blood on the right, and more pictures of Kaya, Jessica, and Miles waiting to catch the sheep. Okay. Y'all on top of the sheep? So they caught the sheep and they're on top of it. And this is more Jessica at the bottom left holding the baby goats. Miles after Naomi actually caught the ram. Llamas at the top right, and more collecting of blood at the top left. And as far as our results go, it's to be continued, and our plan is to continue the project this fall.
Okay, so we discussed about the farm management differences with all the farms that we visited. All but one was business.
Yeah.
Only one was a rescue facility. It was different in many ways because the animals were not socialized, meaning that they were not accustomed to people. They were just kind of free ranged, and that they were dead animals found. And we actually have a horn and a jawbone from one of the dead animals.
It kind of had more like vertebrae and more bones and such, but
And those,
took those.
the whole skull too.
Yeah, we had an entire skull, but we turned that into
Dr. Marshall.
Our project experiences, now we will discuss our project experiences. Farm comparisons versus the socialized and non-socialized farms. Mr. Burnell's Muse farm was more socialized because when we went to the farm, the animals actually interacted with us. And that was located in St. Helena Parish. Mr. Robert Wallace, his animals were not socialized. They were not accustomed to us being on their land. And Mr. Clyde Stanberry, his farm was not socialized because, as we showed you before, the goats, they were more wild and untamed, and so was the horse. The socialized animals were much easier to control. They were much easier to catch and deal with in order to get the samples and such that we needed. The non-socialized animals gave us a bit of a challenge. The weather differences between the parishes, Mr. Burnell's was more rainy. Mr. Clyde's, you could tell that they had been going through a drought. It was not much grassy. It was not much green grass as you would think. When he went to go collect his hay, he only had 12 bales of hay versus what he would usually have about 32. And his cattle were much slimmer than the ones we had observed before.
Okay, so this is just a presentation. Well, this part is just talking about where we want to do with our animal science degree. So for me, I just want my doctor's in veterinary medicine, maybe become a professor, but I also do want to become an agriculture teacher, teach high school students about the importance of agriculture and why we need it and why it's just part of everyday life that we need to understand about agriculture.
Well, my name is Jessica, and I want to get my doctorate in veterinary medicine and become a clinical veterinarian in small domestic animals because my dad never got me a dog. So I always loved animals, so that's why I want to go into veterinary medicine.
So what I would like to do with my degree, after I get my veterinary degree, I would like to go back to grad school to get my master's, then possibly go into animal psychology and travel around the world to visit different kind of animals to see what makes them different, what makes them behave how they do, and just hopefully go somewhere after that.
I want to, after I graduate here, I want to come back to obtain my master's in animal science and later attend veterinary school to get my doctorate in veterinary medicine. I would like to be a traveling vet to work with larger animals instead of just the small ones you see in everyday veterinarian clinics, and maybe even be a zoo veterinarian one day. Still haven't decided.
Okay, so I want to get my DBM also, and I want to become a zoo veterinarian. Hopefully, I'm minoring in Spanish, so hopefully I'll be able to like travel to zoos and everything like around in Spanish-speaking countries and just live life and help endangered species.
I want to get my DMV degree either in large animal or exotic animals because majority animals that you see on the pictures, I caught. Except for the round. The one I'm sitting on. I had a struggle. Like
Naomi caught that one.
I had some injuries. My knee hurt. And my hip. Yeah, but it was a fun experience going over there, see what I want to do and interest. Like it's a fun that I recommend other people to do.
So I'm not actually majoring in animal science, but I'm minoring in it. I want to go to medical school to become a surgeon, but I want to do animal research, and I'm also minoring in psychology, so I also want to study how animals interact and what they think, and also humans. So we was at the zoo yesterday and this wasn't planned, y'all. It really wasn't. We was feeding the fish and then a snake came and took one of the fish. So, y'all could kind of turn your head a little bit.
I got a video.
Man, when is he gonna smash the fish? He's about to.
So this is a little video we made of our little trip and the things we did.
It's somewhere.
And it,
Yeah, it was not.
It was not as bad as y'all think it was. Dang, just me going. That's fine.
I was holding that goal.
We got to name the baby goat Oreo, and the other one was what? Snowball. She was first.
Oh, Diamond sure was first. There go Mom.
We both weren't looking that great today. That day.
We were actually on Naomi's live. I didn't either.
Come on, Naomi.
Ram slam.
She was the only one brave enough to go in there. So
I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. So
Then I went in later.
Oh my God. I think
the goat bit dress.
she got bit by the goat.
y'all really messed up there.
We were milking Nancy.
Oh,
Y'all, she swung it. She swung it.
Poor Jada. That was tough. I had to. I'm sorry. I didn't know she was gonna put that in there. Huh? A pig. It's almost over. It's like, yeah. That was the first day.
Okay. We'd like to make a few acknowledgments. We'd like to thank the Animal Sciences Facility and staff farm workers, Mr. Troy Collins and Paul Thomas. We'd also like to thank the farmers for letting us visit their farms, Mr. Robert Wallace, Mr. Freeman, and Mr. Clyde Stansberry. We'd also like to thank the people who work in the SU Ag Extension Center, Mr. Burnell Muse, and Dr. Prairie from the Baton Rouge Zoo. And of course, our animal science counselors, Brittany, Cleve, Markenzie, and of course, Dr. Marshall. Thank you so much.
Excuse me. Which one is that?
It's the AMTX.
MTX.
No, sir. It's not any of those. It should be on the desktop. Right there. Thank you. Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Reagan, and for my presentation, I chose AMTX, which stands for Apparel, Merchandising, and Textiles. So being a part of BAYOU this year was pretty amazing. It gave me opportunities to meet new people, make friends, gain knowledge for the incoming year, and also learn new things about agriculture. Some of the advantages were being able to meet my professors in advance and being able to get familiar with the college campus at SU. Why I chose Southern? I chose Southern because they offered my major. Where I'm from, they don't, so that was a plus. And as a dancer, I want to continue dancing when I come into college, so that would be great. And in order to pursue a high-paying career in the fashion industry, it's highly suggested to pursuing a 4-year bachelor degree program. Like AMTX does a lot of traveling, so that's a plus. AMTX includes additional skills in marketing, business, liberal arts, management, and many others. It's not just about designing clothes, there's a business side to it also. So how does apparel tie into agriculture? The textiles, a type of material composed of natural and synthetic fibers, such as lace, wool, silk, yarn, cotton, linen, and velvet. So in the fashion world, it's like split into 2 categories. So you have your fast fashion and your slow fashion. Fast fashion is more like your low price clothing, such as Forever 21, H&M, Old Navy, Uniqlo. Uniqlo is a store based in Japan. So does anybody know what Uniqlo stands for? Correct, unique clothing. Fast fashion isn't really your best choice because it's like it says the deterioration of fossil fuels and freshwater reservoirs being eliminated for cotton crop farming, entering pesticides into our nature and putting our ecosystems in risk of destruction. But your slow fashion is more better because it deals with quality, and it's like slow fashion doesn't really change. It's pretty much like the same stuff, such as wedding dresses and tuxedos, and men's clothing like Chanel and things like that. Oops. Okay. So at Southern, there's a store called Niche. It's a student-operated retail store laboratory dedicated to selling merchandise produced by small-scale entrepreneurs and hobbyists. So the senior level students can do their internships at Southern Niche. And there's also this thing called a pop-up shop, and it's hosted during the spring and fall semesters. And during the 2016 flood, they donated clothes. And 2 of the AMTX students that attended Southern have their own clothing line. One is called Stuck Up Clothing by Jordan Johnson, and the other is called Truth by Brandon Julian, which stands for Take Respect Until Freedom. So to the left is Brandon Julian and his clothing line, and Jordan, and he has Stuck Up. And they also held a fashion show here at Southern. So there's 3 careers that I'm interested in, so I'll tell y'all about those. The first one is visual merchandise, and the main goal is to sell goods and promote the store image. So it's like your job is like to decorate mannequins and lay out decoration and displays. So you get to decorate like a big closet, pretty much. The second one is a fashion stylist. Aspiring fashion stylists who want to land good job offers should consider enrolling in a 4-year bachelor degree course program in fashion merchandising. So you basically get to coordinate the clothes, jewelry, accessories used in fashion photography, runway presentations, or looks for the red carpet and other appearances. So help the industry to purchase and select clothing. So I see this as you get paid to dress up, play dress up. And the second one is apparel business owner. A degree is not required, but many apparel business owners do have a degree in fashion design. So a degree in fashion design and business is a good combination only because apparel business owners do not focus on designing clothes. They spend a significant amount of time managing every other aspect of the business. So one of my long-term goals is to graduate in 2022 and have a job in the fashion industry by the time I graduate. A short-term goal is have at least a 3.0 GPA and join an extracurricular activity, such as EFTS, which stands for Elite Fashion Society. And Tyler Haynes is the president currently right now. So, and how BAYOU helped guide me towards my future? It helped me expand my horizons, and it showed me what SU has to offer to their students. I received useful information, ideas to guide me toward a better and brighter future. And that's just references. Any questions? No. No? Okay. Thank you.
Nutrition. Villery.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know it was going. Development. Yeah.
I don't know where it is.
Presentation. Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Where is it? Okay, so human nutritional wealth. Okay, so I'm Raven Wright. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I will be attending Southern this fall, majoring in nutrition, health, and wellness. I plan on becoming a dietitian.
My name is Khalil Parsons. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I plan on coming to Southern University in the fall, along with some other options. But I plan on majoring in nutrition, health, and wellness along with her. And what I plan to do in my degree is become a food science product developer. So I basically want to make the next, big shelf item.
All right, my name is Keenan Villery. I'm from Opelousas, Louisiana. I do plan on coming to Southern in the fall. My major, nutrition, health, and wellness. And what I plan to do in my degree, I want to be a food inspector, work for the UDA, and go to the major food plants and do inspections.
Okay, so pretty much during the past, 2 weeks or a couple days, we had a research question, which is, how can we use our major in nutrition, wellness, and health to improve the lives of Louisiana citizens?
And so basically how we went about answering this question is we were given different questions. It was more so meat-based. So we're given different questions on different kinds of meats, how much is consumed, so what are the healthiest meats, and we compared them along with each other.
We were able to use the internet and the information that we gained from working with this program called Big Buddy. It was at Baton Rouge Charter Academy.
Oh, there's a whole major. Wow.
Why is meat in the diet? Meat is an important source of protein. Lean red meat, including beef, pork, and lamb, can play an important part in a healthy, balanced diet, as they are high in nutrient density. This means they contain a wide variety of nutrients in a relatively small amount of food.
Okay, so during this research, I had to find out which countries eat the most meat. So as you can see, the USA is number 1. We mainly eat beef and pork, and then Kuwait is second, then Australia, the Bahamas, and Luxembourg.
So these are the sources of meat that are most consumed. So beef, pork, chicken, lamb, and goat. Goat is more so consumed outside of the US. Worldwide, it's one of the biggest meats that are consumed, but it's not so much consumed in the US. We more so use goats for milk and their dairy products. And then, so this is a list of the most healthy and the least healthy meats. So most healthy meats are chicken, goat, alligator, and lamb. And that's just based off of the fat content versus the protein content. So what you're eating, how much fat are you getting, how much protein are you getting? And then for the least healthy, with beef and pork, you're getting more fat than you are protein. So it'd be better off if you're trying to live a healthier kind of diet to eat the meats on the most healthier list. And so this is just a chart to show basically the meats compared against each other. So this is a nutrient report for meats per 100 gram serving. So as you can see, chicken has about 17.44 grams of protein in it, but 8.1 grams of fat. But if you compare it to lamb, and you compare lamb to beef, beef has 17.32 grams of protein, with 24 grams of fat per 100 gram serving. So when you're eating beef, you're getting a lot more fat than you're getting protein. So in the end, it's not as healthy as some other options. But as you can see, lamb and alligator and some of the other options, they're healthier alternatives.
Okay, so we also learned about traditional and non-traditional meats. So traditional meats are basically your everyday types of meats that you know and you mainly eat. So we have poultry, which of course is like chicken. We have pork, beef, lamb, and fish. Non-traditional would be possum, deer, and squirrel.
You're correct.
Oh yeah, that too.
It is me. What are value-added meats? Value-added meats is like, well, defined by the USDA as a change in the physical state or form of a product. So Dr. Gator, she gave us an example, like, what if you can make a hamburger without breadcrumbs and probably make it healthier by using oatmeal to make it? Well, with meats, you can probably, instead of just cooking it as a slab, you cut it into cubes. It's easier to cook. The main reasons for producing value-added meats is for convenience and easy preparation and flavor exploration. Oh. What are methods that we use to educate Louisiana residents for eating healthy meats? Well, nutrition enrichment programs. So basically, when we went on a field trip last week, we went to Baton Rouge Charter Academy, and there was a summer program there. It's called Big Buddy. It's just wrong on the slide. So basically, it's a program where children, like ages 8 to 12, they learn about nutrition, and there's a control group called Spark. They get the nutrition class and they do exercises. And when we did there, they did a nutrition class. They made granola, like a granola snack, trail mix. And we helped them plant some tomato plants. And another thing, health clinics with lectures from health professionals, cook-offs with recipe handouts, exposing people to food that is not often publicized, that is healthier, your everyday choice of meat. And some research that Dr. Gager and Dr. Atkinson are doing is with goat meat. They're now producing goat nuggets, goat tenders, goat sandwiches, like all kind of products made with goat meat. And social media.
So a question we had to ask ourselves is basically, is social media a good way to educate Louisiana residents about eating healthy meats? So social media to us was a very good way to educate Louisiana residents about eating healthier meat options, because what we basically thought is, you know how when you're scrolling through social media, you might see like a little video on cooking a meal that looks, appetizing. We thought that would be a good way to market different kinds of meat. So you see a video of a product that you think you will like, but it's actually made out of goat meat or alligator or lamb or a less popularized kind of meat product. And we thought that would be a good way to bring awareness to healthier alternatives to meat.
Okay, so I had to research the social media platforms that we could use. So as you see, Facebook's number one. I know most kids don't use Facebook, but I know our parents do. So that will allow parents to, of course, get information on healthier food options that are available for their families. Then we can also use YouTube. And of course, I'm pretty sure most of us do watch YouTube. We can have tutorials, we can have educational content for our viewers and help them live healthier lifestyles. Instagram, of course, where we can promote the YouTube channel, post videos and pictures weekly, and help people get quick, healthy information. Me? Okay. So using our knowledge and everything we learned from researching in nutrition, wealth, and healthness.
wellness and health, we learned that goat, lamb, and alligator are healthier alternatives to the common meats that are consumed in the U.S. We can create programs and social media profiles to educate the citizens of Louisiana on these healthier alternatives. We can give them resources they need to learn as much as they can about healthier options.
This was our sources that we used to create this PowerPoint, and special acknowledgments to these fine professors, Dr. McGee all the way at the top, Dr. Gager, it's Dr. Atkinson. Oh, she's right there.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
What? He told me come down. Good morning. My name is Eliza Jackson.
And my name is Paige James. And this is our presentation on child development.
Okay, who are we?
We are incoming freshmen at the Southern University and A&M College. We both plan to study family and consumer sciences with a concentration in child development.
I'm a recent graduate from the Tensile High School in St. Joseph, Louisiana.
And I'm a recent graduate from St. Martinville Senior High School in St. Martin Parish.
Why did we choose child development?
We chose child development because we show an interest in how the human race develops and goes through stages of life and how the stages affect each individual.
We both plan to work with children as an early childhood educator and a child psychologist.
This PowerPoint presentation will introduce what child development is and Dr. Erickson's 8 stages of development, the career opportunities in our field, and how we can contribute to child development and prepare them for an optimistic future.
What is child development?
Child development is a reference to the process in which human beings mature. The process begins at infancy and continues on to adulthood.
The development of a person is often measured or studied by physical, social, and cognitive growth.
In a nutshell, child development is the study of growth process of human beings in every aspect.
Stages and their ages. Now that you have an idea of what the study of child development is, we'll tell you about the stages and the ages of which they occur.
There are 8 stages according to Dr. Erik Erikson.
The 8 stages of development are:
Stage 1, trust versus mistrust.
Stage 2, autonomy versus shame and doubt.
Stage 3, initiative versus guilt.
Stage 4, industry versus inferiority.
Stage 5, identity versus role confusion.
Stage 6, intimacy versus isolation.
Stage 7, generativity versus stagnation.
Stage 8, ego integrity versus despair.
Stage 1 occurs from infancy to 18 months of age. And during this stage, infants practice gaining trust in others, particularly their parents, because they will begin a firm sense of trust in a guardian. Without this trust, the child will choose mistrust and lack a virtue of trust.
During this stage, this is the time when you want to hold your child, talk to your child, read to them, sing to them, dance with them, pick them up, spin around, twirl them in the hair.
Stage 2 occurs from 18 months to 3 years of age. And during this stage, a child develops the amount of dependency and they begin doing things for themselves. And without this, the child will become shameful amongst other children who have developed this skill.
During this time, they start to hold their own bottles, or they want a sippy cup. They're usually teething by this time. They start doing things on their own, like trying to walk, standing up on the table, stuff like that, climbing on stuff.
Stage 3 occurs from 3 to 5 years of age, and during this stage, they learn from that form of habitats, igniting an initiative, adventure, and they do things on their own. A child who does not have the initiative often feel guilty that they don't.
All right, this is when you gotta answer the phone and your baby, you just sit them down while they playing. Then you look back and they gone. They somewhere doing something
that they're not supposed to. Stage 4 occurs from 5 to 13 years of age, when a child begins to mature, kind of. They begin to understand the things that they are taught in school, and they become more competitive during this stage. A child who does not present these skills seems to become inferior to their peers and can even lose self-confidence.
Okay, so how many people in the audience have kids? Any teenagers? Okay, so during this stage, it's like they're coming home from school, telling you everything they've learned. It's important to listen to them during this time. Very important. They usually are like, well, I got a B today and such didn't, or I got an A, or I'm doing well in this class, and sort of like showing off.
Yeah, that's how I Yeah. Stage 5 occurs from 13 to 21 years of age, and during this stage, the famous term identity crisis is commonly found in adolescents. Young adults who experience this often find trouble and confusion as they grow into themselves.
All right. I don't want to elaborate because this stage is us.
Yeah.
So
Stage 6 occurs from 21 to 39 years of age, and during this stage, young adults can sometimes be in fear that they haven't found the right partner, and they may be scared to live alone. Young adults who do not become successful in the intimacy area can spend the rest of their lives partnerless or isolated.
21 to 39, show of hands. Y'all still got it. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna find
Keep going.
You're gonna find it.
Yeah. Stage 7 occurs from 40 to 65 years of age. During this stage, adults are a lot more settled and find passion and purpose in their lives and work, as they feel a lot more meaningful and important. Adults who do not reach the level feeling achievement or success begin to feel purposeless or stagnated.
Okay, so y'all don't have to raise your hands because we're getting up there with the numbers.
Yeah.
But usually by this time, y'all like coming to the Ag Center. You enjoy seeing all the dirt and cows and etc. And you start feeling like, your life means something, you're doing something, you're going somewhere. Well, you're all going to stage 8.
Like that. Stage 8 occurs from 65 years and older. And during this stage, people are considered elders, and have usually retired from their careers. Adults who do not reach a level of ego integrity often feel a sense of despair.
All right, this kind of a sad stage. I don't like this stage. I'm not even close to being there, but I'm already upset about it. You want to feel, okay, so imagine you retired, right? You got a nice house at this point, enough to have a little view of something. And you're thinking about your life. And I want y'all to sort of picture it in like a good sense. So sort of do all you can while y'all have time. Stage 7 people.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna point you out. You know who you are. So just, The
career opportunities with child development.
Okay, you can be a child life specialist, a special education paraprofessional. That's for y'all that are gonna switch to child development. That's what my grandma does. She loves her job. A parent educator, early childhood educator consultant, or early childhood regulator, age, social worker, grant writing, administration of programs for children, private and non-private services, child and family services advocacy, and the Head Start program. My future plans are is to become a child psychologist. I'll be attending Southern University in the fall, majoring in family consumer sciences with a concentration in child development. After receiving my BS, I'll obtain a job as a social worker. I know it's going to be a lot of work, so pray for me, everybody. I'll be continuing my education still until I receive an MS with a concentration in mental health counseling. And once these accomplishments have been achieved, the sky's the limit and my future will only become brighter from there.
And my future plans is also to attend Southern University in the fall and major in family and consumer sciences with a concentration in child development. And after receiving my BS, I will obtain a job as an early childhood educator where I'll be teaching and guiding and helping young kids on a daily basis.
So you bring your little ones to Paige.
Yeah, even though I'm a little one too. So.
And you could bring your little ones to me, or if y'all want to talk, I have a couch. Not right now, but I'll have a couch. Okay, these are our references. Any questions or comments? Both. Thank you. Okay, we like to thank the BAYOU coordinators, you guys up there, looking all nice, for presenting us with the opportunity to participate in this program, and Dr. Smith and Dr. Cyrus, Ms. Jasmine, Ms. Melissa, for helping us with our presentation. I hope y'all liked it, and everybody else should just switch to child development. It's not too late.
Yeah.
Okay, we are the Plant Soil Science Group for BAYOU 2018. And I'm Shauna Smith from Dallas, Texas. I'm Lauren Langley from Zachary, Louisiana.
I'm Cleveland James from St. Martinville, Louisiana.
My name is Kean Jones. I'm from St. Martinville, Louisiana.
My name is Deonville. I'm from Opelousas, Louisiana.
My name is Garrett Bro from Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, but originally from Houston.
And my name is Alexandria Clear from Memphis, Tennessee. So this summer we had the pleasure of engaging in multiple plant and soil experiments with Dr. Snowden and Dr. Devaya. So here's a couple things that we did. Microbial plating of rhizosphere soil, gram staining and microscopy, plant tissue culture, and extractions of plant material. So the objective for microbial plating of the rhizosphere soil was to profile bacterial and fungal population in the rhizosphere soil to determine if tomato plants grown in the greenhouse or the horticulture form carries more microorganisms. So the first task for our research group was to collect soil. So we went out to the greenhouse and we collected soil from the rhizosphere region of the tomato plants from the greenhouse and the horticulture form. And the reason why we chose to collect soil from the rhizosphere region is because it's right next to the roots, which contains most of the nutrients for the plants. So that would have been the best thing to test. And so after collecting our samples, we went back to the lab to prepare our media. So one media that we prepared was a nutrient
Agar, which contained peptone, beef extract, agar, sodium chloride, and distilled water at a pH of 6.8. And the other media that we prepared was the potato dextrose agar, which has potato infusion, dextrose, which is sugar, agar powder, prepared at a pH of 5.6.
So media and glassware sterilization. The prepared media was autoclaved for 15 minutes at 121 degrees Celsius, and you sterilize the test tubes for 20 minutes at 130 degrees Celsius. Like an autoclave is basically like it just cleans everything, so like you don't have any bacteria or anything like that. Media plate preparation. The biosafety cabinet was sprayed and cleaned with 70% alcohol. The UV light was turned on for 20 minutes before starting to work. The UV light kills any bad radiation or any bacteria, so everything is clean and sterilized. The media was poured into petri dishes and let to solidify for 1 hour. Serial dilution of soil samples from greenhouse and horticulture farm. Soil samples were collected from the rhizosphere region of tomato plants from the greenhouse and horticulture farm. 1 gram of soil sample. We took 1 gram of soil sample and added to 9 mils of deionized water and then mixed it well. We transferred 1 mil to a test tube with 9 mils of cereal water labeled as B. So we took 1 mil from each sample and we placed it in the other. We transferred it to the other samples 5 times.
So after we distilled the water into the test tubes, we went back to the hood, and in the hood we have 2 medias. One contains the life of fungi, and the other is able to support the life of bacteria. And after we place the distilled water from C and D into the fungi and the distilled water of E and F into the bacteria. And then we incubated the PDA plates at room temperature for 4 to 5 days, and the NA plates were incubated at 37 degrees Celsius for 2 days. Here are examples of our petri dishes after the couple of days. This is an example of the bacteria because due to the time constraints, we're only able to do the bacterial staining. And we divided each petri dish into 4 quadrants, and we counted the bacteria colonies.
Next was gram staining. We sterilized the metal inoculation loop with a Bunsen burner. Then we added a drop of water on a slide, then picked a column. Then we spread the bacteria on the slide to form a thin smear. Once the smear dried, and add a drop of crystal violet, let it sit for 1 minute. Then you rinse with water, then add a drop of iodine and let it sit for 1 minute. Then rinse the water and add 4-5 drops of alcohol until the stain disappears. Then you add a drop of saffron and let it sit for 1 minute, then rinse with water. Then air dry and observe the slide under the microscope.
Okay, so next we have plant tissue culture, and basically plant tissue culture is just being able to propagate a plant in sterile conditions using a medium containing nutrients that supports plant tissue. So first we did was we collected samples from the greenhouse and we placed it in a plastic bag to avoid contamination, and we let the leaf samples sit in soapy water for about an hour to rinse it and clean off any dirt or bacteria. And then we transfer the leaf samples to bleach and let it sit for 20 minutes. And we place the samples in a sterilized safety hood. And then we transfer the leaves and wash the leaves 3 times with sterilized water. And then we washed it with 70% alcohol for 30 to 45 seconds. Then we wash the leaves 2 more times with sterilized water. And the explants were placed onto MS media. Then the explants were placed into the plant growth chamber. And then this is just us. The first picture is the leaves in the water being rinsed, and then the next picture is the media, and we're just preparing it for the plants. And then the third is just us cutting the plants into small pieces.
The next experiment we did was the extraction of the hibiscus, and the objective of it was to compare the water and the methanol extractions. Okay, this is just a definition of the extraction. Extraction is separation of medicinally active portions of plant tissues using selective solvents through standard procedures. Medicinal plants constitute an effective source of both traditional and modern medicines. We finally grounded the hibiscus and placed it into a porous filter paper and placed into the chamber of the circular apparatus. The solvent was then heated. Well, we had the methanol. Our solvent was heated and then vapor condensed into the condenser. The condensed extraction drips into the thimble that contains hibiscus sample. And then the level of the liquid in the chamber rose to the top, and the liquid content flew into the flask.
The hibiscus calyx were crushed in mortar and pestle and placed in a beaker. The beaker was then placed on a hot plate with a stir bar and heated for 10 minutes. The contents were removed and filtered into the two beakers in this photo. On the left, we got methanol, and on the right, we got H2O.
All right, so that was the end of our presentation, but we'd like to give a couple acknowledgments. First to Dr. Devaya for helping us in the lab, then to Dr. Snowden for also being there for us and helping us. Special thanks to Tyrese Chambers, our student advisor. He really helped us through a lot. And also Dalton and Megan. Any questions?
All right.
Hold on. What was your question? Where we went? Oh, yesterday we went to the Tabasco factory on Avery Island, and we learned about the history of tobacco. I mean, not tobacco. Tabasco. I'm sorry. Same word. Tabasco.
And then we also went to the jungle gardens.
Yeah.
And we almost got eaten by an alligator.
Definitely a couple alligators. Any other questions? Naomi? We did, and we just saw one. You know, we extra.
They had like 3 alligators that we seen.
Dr. Snowden told us not to even go near, so no. Any other questions?
What a hibiscus.
Oh, hibiscus? All right, that was a good presentation, you guys.
We drink it in
Wait.
my system.
Wait, tell them about hibiscus.
All right.
Oh, he's going to tell you about hibiscus now.
Oh.
A little information about the hibiscus plant we have upstairs. They have a few products they have already. They have a tea, a soap, and a peel. The hibiscus is good for our bodies. It's known to suppress cancer cells, and it also helps with people who have diabetes.
Let me see something. And it also helps with the y'all laughing. It also helps with the restoration of the memory, like with people who have Alzheimer's too. Like if they drink it long enough, like their memories start coming back slowly. So yeah. All right. Chambers.
With me being a plant and soil science major, I was able to assist this wonderful group of students in conducting, a little research. I would say they conducted a lot of research within the time they were given, and to expand on some of the things they may have not, known about. The research, such as the tissue culture, which is basically taking a leaf and making a plant from that leaf, and you can make up to 10,000 plants from that one piece of, leaf, the smaller, the size of your fingernail. Some benefits of growing the plants inside the lab rather than outside. You could grow 1 million plants inside the lab, but imagine the space or the time and labor that takes to do outside. And another thing I would like to say, that these students, they represented themselves well yesterday when we went to the Tabasco factory and to the, Jungle Garden. And I would just like for you all to give them a round of applause.
Where the fuck it is? Right.
What is urban forestry really about? It's the management of the trees for our people. It's important to manage an urban forestry. Basically, like what I'm saying is, think about our trees, you think about our life, our air quality, our water quality. It's like it all evolves around the environment. You will see here today you will see the eye tree and then the management of waste for the future so we can find resources and energy sources.
All right, so let's talk about management. There's 80%. There's 80% of U.S. citizens live in urban environments. The urban forest in the U.S. contains about 3.8 billion trees with a current value of $2.4 trillion. Just like money needs to be managed, also trees, the natural resources, and communities need to be managed. You can't manage an urban forest without managing a tree. The policies are called arboriculture. You will need the tools of trade to provide the effective care.
We have to understand internal health. One of the ways to investigate health of a tree is by using an increment board. After finding a point of entry, we start incisions to see if the decay is present. Another way to determine decay is by using a resistograph. It is a less labor more scientific way of investigating internal health.
All right, this is data we collected from using a resistograph. As you can see in the second thing, that it has heavy resistance, but towards the end it's decay a little. And you can see at the top one, you can see the early wood and the late wood that we collected from water oak.
Okay, we like she said, we collected some data from the water oak and the lobby pine trees. We studied the height of the pine trees and the DBHs. As our data on the graph shows, our height from the lobby pine to the water oak consists of 47 feet to 41 feet. And then the DBHs consisted of to 29 to 21.5.
Another tool is the tree radar unit, which we use to look internally in trees and subsurface to examine the roots. The first thing we did was calibrate the tree radar unit. We know that most of the roots are found within 18 inches of the soil, so we wanted to make sure we had enough energy concentrated there. The second thing we did was find north of the tree and measure 1 foot increments to the canopy edge. We used the flower to make rings around the tree to be environmentally friendly, and we started to scan and map out the roots. Okay. The tree radar unit is capable of mapping out roots. So this is a picture in 3D, so we can see the roots without destroying the earth. You may ask why this is important, but you wouldn't want to wake up to a tree falling on your house or worse.
So next we will have the iTree Canopy team come and explain to you all.
All right, good morning. Our research project was on the iTree Canopy Model application. My name is Nicholas Fryer.
I'm Tess Brown.
And I'm Tom Tate.
And we're the 2018 BAYOU Proud Incoming Freshmen of the Urban Forestry Program. We were under the advisement of Dr. Neen. her assistant, Ms. Simbri Majors, and Dr. Yaw. What is iTree Canopy? iTree Canopy allows users to conduct tree canopy cover and land cover by utilizing assessment tools such as geographic information systems, aerial photographs, and random sampling statistics. This application can compare tree canopy cover in different parts of a city. Areas such as parks, schools, and communities are also included. You can identify the available space needed for new tree planting, estimate the impervious surface that can contribute to stormwater runoff.
And for those who don't know what impervious surface is, it's like artificial structures that's made so fluid can't pass through them.
You can estimate the benefits of trees, and it makes assessment easier and cheaper for a larger city to discover the benefits of that particular area. Throughout this project, we received hands-on training on how to apply the iTree Canopy model. We use real-life scenarios such as Independence Park, Arboretum Park, and Howell Community Park as study sites.
The park that I was given was Independence Park. Using iTree Canopy, we put in different cover classes, which included trees, grass, and herbs, shrubs, impervious others, impervious roads, impervious buildings, soil, bare grounds, marsh, and water. After doing that, we had to plot 500 points, and each point we had to categorize in one of the 9 cover classes. In Independence Park, grass and herbs were the highest at 33% because I had a lot of soccer fields in the park. And then trees came next at 21%. And then impervious others, including like pools, sidewalks, was third. In the table, trees in the park provided over 288,000 in annual benefits for the surrounding communities, including over 15,000 in air pollution removal and over 273,000 in CO2 uptake and carbon storage.
The park I was assigned was Arboretum Park. Of the 3 parks, I had the smallest. However, I had the largest percent cover of trees, which was 66.2%. Behind that is grass and herb, which is 15.3%, and the least is impervious roads, 0%, because I had none. Arboretum Park trees are valued at over $3,000 in air pollution removal annually and over $68,000 in CO2 sequestration and carbon storage, totaling in an amount of over $72,000.
I had Howell Community Park. From iTree Canopy, I was able to categorize my cover classes since I had a lot of baseball fields and open area. Grass and herbs was the highest at 55%. Marsh and water, however, was 0%. The trees in the park remove poisonous gases such as carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and ozone, which is also known as smog. Therefore, the park saves over $12,000 annually each year. The trees also sequestrated CO2 and stored carbon valued at over $200,000. In total, the benefits of Howell Community Park is $228,234.
In our outdoor hands-on data collection, we went to Independence Park in Baton Rouge, and we learned how to measure the tree diameter using a tree diameter tape. We also learned how some trees can be classified as shrubs depending on if there's more than one trunk coming out of the ground. We also learned how to measure the height of a tree using the thumb method if you forget your equipment. And we also walked around the park to see where new trees can be planted and like where they're best to be at.
In the laboratory, we learned the functions of iTree canopy, and we learned the different cover classes. We learned how to plot, how to point. I learned what a cover class was. I didn't even know what that was until today. Really, I didn't know what any of this stuff was. I'm saying what I learned to tell y'all the truth because they knew all this. I didn't even know what Excel, Microsoft was. That's all. And now we'll transition into tree anatomy and biofuels.
Sorry.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Sarah Neal.
My name is Kayla Hedgepeth, and we decided to study urban forestry and natural resources with a concentration of tree anatomy and DNA extraction, along with biofuel ethanol production. So all of our research came under these three questions. What is DNA, along with DNA extraction? What is tree anatomy, and what is biofuel? DNA is what forms us and makes us, but DNA extraction is when we take it out and do research on it. Tree anatomy is the localization and identification of tree tissues, and then we notice their growth and development. Biofuels are just fuels that are produced from organic materials such as plant and animal waste. We learned about the southern live oak, known as Quercus virginiana, and they can grow up to 40 to 60 feet tall, and they have the largest spreading canopy of all the oak trees. And that picture shows the Oak Alley plantation, and it has like many oak trees, hundreds of them just lined up side by side.
So one of our projects we worked on was the DNA extraction from live oak leaves. We collected an even amount of both mature and young live oak leaves. Here's some pictures. We cut the leaves, we weighed them, weighing them approximately 100 milligrams of each leaf. We froze them in 2 milliliter tubes. And here we heat the samples for 65 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes, and we put them in the incubator for 45 minutes.
So basically these are the things that we collected of the 4 mature leaves and the 4 young leaves, and you can tell that the numbers are very close together. So this is a graph that shows that between the mature leaf and the young leaves, the DNA results don't have a significant difference, and this shows the standard deviation of them. So we also learned about tree anatomy, where we got to cut tree cookies and put them under microscopes, and we got to look at them closely. That's a picture of us cutting them and looking through them. We learned about leaf chlorophyll, which is where you have more chlorophyll, the leaves are darker, and when you have less chlorophyll, it's most likely a young leaf, and they're lighter leaves. So within tree anatomy, we learned about the pith, which is the center, early wood, which is in the beginning of the season, how it grows, late wood grows later. The xylem is where the nutrients come up from the roots, and the phloem is when they come down from the leaves. The other picture shows the leaf hairs that are located under the leaves, and they're really small.
Another project we worked on was the biofuels. Biofuels can be used in place of fossil fuels and other burning energy. So here we used the splash pine samples to do our research, which was carried out by 3.0% dilute sulfuric acid. And here we were just mixing the solutions together. And here we put the solutions in a bioreactor and allowed them to spin at a constant speed for 72 hours.
So basically our results from that was that at the 60th hour, we got 32.6 milligrams diluted, and the lowest was at the 12th hour, which was 24.33 milligrams diluted, and that just creates a fuel that you could use for your cars, your lawnmowers, anything that really uses gas. It's an alternative.
We would like to thank the BAYOU committee, our mentors and counselors, providing us a life-changing experience.
We also want to thank all the professors and counselors within Urban Forestry and Natural Resource Department, and also the Southern University Land Grant Campus.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I got it. Good afternoon. That was dry. Okay. My name is Amira Andrews, and I'll be majoring in urban forestry
and my project is on insects, which is entomology. But I have a question. What's bugging you? Okay, that was mine. Okay, anyways, by the way, I took all these pictures, by myself, and this was the first one I seen, which I found very interesting because it was of the wasp eating on a pest. So that was pretty cool. So most people, when they think about insects, they think they're all bad, but we actually have a lot of insects such as predators, pollinators, and also decomposers. So on my project, I wanted to see the insect diversity in the farm at Southern. So what I did was I put traps in the bare soil to see what would be there when the crop leaves, to see what insects are there. Then I want to see the eggplant and the okra and then the flowers. So for that, I used the piffle trap for the crawling insects, so that way they just sink in. And then I also used the yellow sticky traps for the flying insects, And then also here's me putting one, and here goes Dr. Veronica. For my results, okay, so I had to search through the soil and look through a microscope, and I found a cucumber beetle, an ant, and then I also found a sharpshooter sticky trap, and they're all pests. So, However, I also found beneficials like the ground beetle, the rose beetle, earwigs, and then the click beetle also. So they're all good, like they're predators, and, they eat the pests. So I calculated up the number of pests and beneficials, and the number of pests were significantly higher than the number of beneficials. However, on flowers, the beneficials were higher. And then I did a diversity index, and I seen how the flowers and okra were pretty high and diverse versus the other ones. Okay, and for my second project, I worked with a leaf beetle, and it feeds on an air potato vine, and it helps control the invasive species. So what I wanted to figure out was if the beetle only fed on the air potato vine. So how I did that, I did a no choice test. I used 4 plant species and I replicated it 4 times, and I put 1 adult in each for 2 days and I let it sit. And I used spinach, lettuce, crepe myrtle, and then the air potato vine as a control. Okay, next I used the choice test. I did 4 plants in the same cage and I replicated it 4 times with 3 adults in each for 2 days, basically. And for my results, the leaf beetle only fed on the air potato vine and nothing else. But the way I calculated the amount consumed, I put it on a grade scale, and then I counted each of the boxes, and the area consumed was almost 6 centimeters square, and the rest was 0. It was nothing. Okay, and for my choice test, the leaf beetle only chose to feed on the air potato vine as well. And they consumed around 9 centimeters, almost 10, and 0 for the other ones. In conclusion, Project 1, flower beds increase numbers of beneficial insects in the gardens. Other settling methods should be used because I didn't collect any pollinators, like the bees and stuff, and butterflies. I didn't collect any. And then for Project 2, the leaf beetle is a specialist insect that only feeds on the air potato vine. Beneficial insects can be used to control weeds and reduce pesticides usage. However, it'll help the environment a lot. I want to thank y'all for your attention. I want to thank Urban Forestry a lot because y'all really opened my mind and showed me all the, different opportunities you could do. I also want to thank the BAYOU program for letting me letting me come and showing me different parts of agriculture because I just thought it was all about food. But now, I also want to thank Dr. Veronica. I want to thank Dora. I think she's not here. Oh, hey, and then and Henry also, because they really did a lot, especially Dr. Veronica with her patience, because I wasn't getting it, and they really helped me a lot. So, thanks.
Hi, my name is Kyla, and on behalf of the whole Urban Forestry, we would like to thank our professors and everybody that helped us on this project. We really appreciate it, and we can't wait to come here in the fall to learn more about urban forestry.
I'll do it.
And everybody, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Awesome. Let's give our students another hand. We had some very, very quality presentations. We appreciate everybody for joining us today and getting the chance to see what our students got to experience this summer and what they'll be getting able to experience when they come in the fall. So we are excited that everybody came and sat and asked a few questions. So we are done with presentations for today. Our students will be taking pictures this afternoon. And tomorrow we invite you all back for the closing program starting at 9:30. We're going to wish our students a farewell and hope them good graces coming back in the fall. So students, stay seated. Everyone else, you are free to move about the room as you see fit. Y'all stay seated. Yeah. Go out right there and turn to the right. And you pass the pencils off and
You know about any events going on at the arena for July, August, and September?
I don't.
Apart from the horse show that is coming.
You know about that?
Well, I think it's the city of Baker will do that. But it's
okay, yeah.
But I don't think July, because of the construction,
right.
we
I don't have
to know
anything.
ahead of that.
I don't have anything scheduled. Phil. Mr. Jerome, Dr. Snow. Dr. Snow, please don't try to leave. We'll need your assistance. For the students? Oh, if any faculty need to take headshots, please come on down. Mr. Lee is ready for you. Any faculty that still need to take your headshots for the directory. If you just want one, he'll give it to you. He'll give it back to you. Excellent. He'll take it for you. Okay. I need y'all to sit back down because we're going to take y'all to the room.
I'm around with you. I'm around you. You want to clothes on.
Okay. Yeah, they're going to look.
Nothing, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So we can miss breakfast for this. Man, I'm riding the bus with you. I brought my clothes over there.
Okay.
So I can just ride her.
Mm-hmm.
So we friends. Okay. Hey, Mr. Fowler. That man's name is
We are we're going to take y'all to the dorm. So y'all can change. Buy your shirts, can.
Okay, and then we will get y'all from the cafeteria. You walk from the cafeteria to the dorm, or you walk from the dorm to the cafeteria? Wow. Going to the cafeteria. Yeah. Going to the cafeteria. So we're gonna take y'all to the room so y'all can change, put on y'all shirt, go to the cafeteria, and we'll pick y'all up from the cafeteria at 1:15. That'll be enough time, right? We'll pick y'all up from the cafeteria at 1:15, so we can take yeah, why you say hey, come on, let's go outside. We're going that way.
Yep. Hopefully I keep working on you. So what's your team?
Oh, it was perfect. I'm telling you, I cannot emphasize it. Just so beautiful.
You will never see us so well dressed up.
Yes, so nice.
We're
I thought it was just about.
Could I have you all attention, please? Hello, is all the students gone yet? Some of them still here. For those of you who listen up, listen up. I just wanted to thank you all for a beautiful program. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. We have board meeting, and so I will miss your graduation class. But I did want to say this has been, from what I heard this morning, this has been a very exciting class. We were really concerned about 3 weeks versus 4 weeks versus 5 weeks. And I must commend your mentors, the faculty, for putting together an excellent program in 3 weeks. I commend the coordinators, Dr. Marion, Dr. Tiffany. Is she still here? She's gone. You all have an opportunity, or you had an opportunity, you still have one, unlike many students in your hopefully incoming freshman class, because you've had a chance to experience an in-depth view of what, in this case, agriculture, family, and consumer sciences is all about. You got your taste of research. Hopefully you've gotten a little bit of taste of the academic rigor that we have to go through here. And I know that you're going to be great students. And for that, I'm very proud of you. You will have a BAYOU graduation on tomorrow as incoming freshmen. Take advantage of it. because that's be the last time that you will be a high school student. From that point on, after tomorrow, you'll be entering college and starting on your career. From what I've seen today, that would be a great career for all of you all. Take advantage of it. You all know where my office is. You know where the faculty's offices are. Take advantage of those as well. We're here to serve you, and we're here to train you. And we hope that you allow us to do a good job of that. Okay, so I just wanted to point out again that to make a few comments now, because tomorrow I'll be at the board meeting in New Orleans and I won't get a chance to see you all. So y'all take care and good luck here. All right.
You know what? Você quer só colocar, tá muito nesse play. And I was going to go to see the game. We'll see.
Dr. Chief, you took a picture?
I'm not ready.
Today the last day. This is. You won't have a great bubble on the website. You won't be no great circle on the website. That's the last. Get your hand on. Well, I'm gonna edit them all together.
Good morning.
I sit right next to you. Who your hands come?
If you into some,
I said, hey, I'm trying to.
and I was about to get up.
Yeah.
How's it going?
How did you like it?
I did. I think they did really well.
They did real well.
Yeah.
And our students had results for their research. The other ones didn't. How you like that? In a short time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Document. Actually, we were the only one. Our students were the only ones who had results from their research.
That's right. Yeah, I was so proud of them.
In a short time.
And also, we were really having research projects, not just we're the only one who applies, but every one of us have projects.
Hey, your boy who you mentoring, he didn't even give any what could happen from the results.
Which one?
With the radar.
Oh, what's
He didn't
going
give
on?
nothing. I'm telling you, this is a mess. I came here. Look, something told me last night when I came in here. He said he had problem. He had problem formatting the different PowerPoints. Something told me last night I was sleeping. Bring a flash drive and load it up, in my lab. And I brought it here and I said I was treating the people. What's gonna happen with him? And that's a mess. Oh, I don't want to hear nothing he has to say. Look how everybody else had time, and he wanted to put everybody into 10 minutes. See that? Oh, Jesus.
I'm glad our kids have time to talk, so it shows how much.
Right.
Simbri has taught all those 3 kids a lot of stuff. So I'm glad today they had a chance to express.
Yeah, from one of the animal science students, they found that it's into the park.
Nice. That was yours.
Well, he saw it ahead. I was like, okay, I don't really want it, but I'll take it.
And how do you spell your name?
Simbrey.
Eurey. And look, I put Simbory. But I couldn't think of your last name. Majors when I put in the acknowledgement in the back.
I was calling
All right.
Back in the office.
I'm going there too.
I know. I really went to eat lunch.
Yeah. Me too.
I'm still learning myself.
Y'all good? If you know any of your people that didn't take one, come on.
Okay. So how do I look at the picture? Do I look okay in the picture?
Yeah, you look
all
like
your picture.
You look the same way you see yourself every day in the mirror.
I saw the Chancellor report last month. It had 2 pictures of me in it. Let me put in the hood for the doctor.
Yeah.
I look, it's all missing. It's so sweet to me. I was so happy. I was like, thank you
For the graduation pictures, yeah. Thank you. I tried.
This is the first time actually I ever had graduation pictures put up there.
And that's why I went. That's why I went, because I wanted the students to be able to have their pictures and not have to pay the university. Because after they take the picture, they want to charge you for them. So
Those beautiful pictures.
yeah, but thank you though.
Those are new professional photographers.
I tried.
So that's very important. Because a lot of time we do things, no documentation.
Cell phone pictures.
Yeah. How do you here?
And
So
that's
it's-
why this research is so important. Hey, but look, in the fall.
We don't know how to take pictures.
Right.
We sure know, make sure students.
And
know how
speaking
to
of,
do
look,
research.
in the fall, when the students get here in the fall, if you have something interesting going on in class, call me so I can take
Sure.
pictures.
Yeah, I will. I will.
Okay.
You might have to put glasses on, if you mind. You can turn your torso a little more towards me. Yeah, like, hold on.
I don't do that.
Get your pictures done.
You ain't have to do all that.
It's got the layers on it.
Yeah, oh man. Huh?
Yeah. A lot of weed. Let me see. Oh, that's fine. Oh, you did a good job.
But as you can see, you see why I stepped on the chair.
I like those. Good job. All right. Did that something else you? Oh, it did. Thank you. Good. Okay.
All right.
Do it, Mike. Oh, that's oh, my pen yet. Oh, wait, I left the keys. Sign them. Let's go. Okay. Lord, have mercy. That's come on, let's stop. Come on, I never played no sport. No, I got that. I do. You got everybody on?
That's why I didn't play.
I'm getting mine.
Everybody ain't got a pen.
Okay.
Internships with a permanent job in football. My dream, still regret not being able to play ball. Like, I really wanted to play college ball. And I can speak to, like, right now, like, I was coaching high school football, I was getting on my way in football. I was in school since I was in college. And I made it to Pee-wee and all that stuff. I was at high school level, varsity level, and all of a sudden, this job takes. It's like, you know, I got to put my dreams on hold to coach because, you know, my ultimate goal is developmental coach on the region. But, you know, I have to put all that on hold. So the one thing you got to think about is what's going to make me the money to live and what's going to be a hobby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to do it. Like, I just want to do that
You just want to try it.
season. That one season, then that's it. That's all I need. That's all I need.
My thing is, man,
one season, just to do it.
Here's
that
my
would feel so wonderful. Like,
I'm a fan of trying it, at least getting it out your system.
because no, but I don't want it to fake that because I know if I was to get an internship, it would be probably around before the season even open. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
like that would be pushing, like leaving for either May or June, right?
Yeah.
It just ended like last week.
You see, the sad part is, and I kind of, it's hard to give you some advice because like everything in me from the football standpoint is pass it up while you're young. You know, the professional side of me, because I'm on this side too. Money. That's your future. Football may not be the future, but at the same time, you don't even know. You don't even know that. You know, you get to another coach outside of high school, which all the techniques that you learn in high school, they're about to break all that shit. Because, you know, high school coaches don't coach on a detailed level that they do on a collegiate pro level. But who knows? Like exercise, you get in the weight room and they beef you up a little bit in a box safety. You know what I'm saying? Who knows where you go from the semi-pro level on above? Like you don't know that. I don't know that. But if you got an itch for it, I would definitely scratch it while you're young. So you don't be wondering. Because I'm wondering, like, you know, my favorite D line was a three technique defensive line, and I'm like, shit, who knows how it's been without an active play, you know? But I'm wondering. And that's pretty much gonna be it. And that's how I feel. The same way you feel, that's how I feel. How you doing? You forgot something? Hey, Mr. Chris, how you doing? But yeah, that's the thing. And you see, I'm just bust down to coaching. And it's like if I do start, and if I'm going to go for my thing, I ain't gonna want to just quit. Especially if you rolling. Right. And you get paid a little bit for semi-pro ball. That's what I'm saying. I struggle with that, man, because I had class.